Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. I just woke up, so if I sound tired, that's why. I don't typically get up and then just immediately record videos, but I don't know why. I woke up and I was like, you know what? I want to make a video right now. And when motivation calls, I'm answering. So today's story, it's a good one. It's a wild one. It's a good one. It's a pretty long one. I know you guys like the long stories. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you do. Also, check out my new song, Backseat. Came out like a month ago. Definitely check that out. Anyway, let's jump into today's story. So today's story, it's about running away. And I have a lot of stories like these because when I was a teenager, I'd say from the ages of like 14 to like 17, I ran away from home a lot. I used to get in arguments a lot with my family and my brothers and my mom and my stepdad, and I would just run away because I didn't like confrontation and I would just run away. Obviously, before I continue with the story, don't do that, okay? Like, obviously, there's a lot of better options and choices to make than running away. Also, it's not safe. If you're a kid and you run away and you're out in the middle of the night alone, it's not safe. You know what I mean? Don't run away. Stay home. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you need to get out of your home, like you're unsafe there or something, then call the police or whoever necessary to get you out of that situation. But running away and being on the streets for who knows how long can be very dangerous. So yeah, don't do that. Anyway, yeah, so this story time all takes place back during those ages, specifically age 16. Now, 16 was a pretty interesting age for me because this was when my YouTube channel started to pop off and things were starting to go really good for me. But I was still in high school and I was still like in the process of trying to drop out of high school, but I couldn't yet. And it was just a very strange age. I'd say 16 and 17 were very strange for me because, you know, I was making pretty good money and I felt super mature and it felt like I was, you know, kind of becoming an adult in a way, but I wasn't an adult yet. You know what I mean? Like I had adult money, but I was still a kid. So it was like a really strange feeling. And around this time, I was really butting heads a lot with my family. I don't think it was because of the YouTube stuff. I think it was just because I was 16 and at 16, I just had a lot of attitude and so did my family. And we would just kind of always get in arguments. Now, one day at 16 years old, I wake up, I get up out of bed. It was a Saturday. It was about 12 noon. So I woke up pretty, you know, late, I guess you could say. And I got up out of bed, went into the kitchen, got some cereal, sat at the table. I was just on my phone scrolling, eating my cereal. And my mom comes in the room, comes into the kitchen. And she's like, wow, you're up early, obviously being sarcastic. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, what was the one thing I told you to do last night and you didn't do it? And I start thinking, I'm like, what is she talking about? And I genuinely didn't remember. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, what you asked me to do? She's like, oh, now you're playing stupid. I was like, no, I swear. Like, what do you want me to do? And she tells me, she's like, I asked you last night to clean the basement. That was the one thing I asked. And it would not take that long. And you chose to not do it. You sat on your game all night and then you went to sleep. And as soon as she said this, I remembered. She did ask me to do that. And I completely forgot. So I told her that. I was like, oh, shit, I'm so sorry. Like, I did not mean to forget. I actually did forget. I'm sorry. And she was like, I don't believe that. I think you remembered. You just didn't do it. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I forgot. And she didn't believe me. She thought I was lying to her. She thought I just like put it off on purpose and I didn't want to do it. And I was just being lazy. And while I do admit there was a degree of laziness here because I stayed on my video game and then forgot, I still was not doing what she was accusing me of. She thought that I like stayed up all night knowing that I had to do this and I just purposely didn't do it. So I told her that. I was like, look, I do agree. I was lazy. I stayed on my game and I forgot, but I did not purposely like put it off the whole night knowing that I should have did it. And she was like, whatever, do it now. So I go down there and I clean the basement because I owed it to her. You know, I forgot. And while I'm down there, just doing my thing, one of my brothers comes down. And I'm just cleaning the basement, and I'm just doing my thing, and he starts fucking with me. Yeah, so before I continue, I grew up in a family with 6 older siblings, okay? 3 brothers, 1 sister, 2 foster brothers, all of them older than me. I was the youngest in the family. And being the youngest, I got messed with a lot, you know, like because I was a little kid, the annoying little sibling, my, you know, siblings would mess with me sometimes. And on this day, when I was cleaning the basement, my brother came down and decided to just start messing with me. He comes downstairs. I'm in the middle of vacuuming. I turn the vacuum off because I thought he had to ask me something. And he was like, yo, you're doing a pretty shitty job with that vacuuming. And I was like, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. And he's like, no problem. He starts going back upstairs, right? And I'm going to turn the vacuum back on. And he turns back around. He goes, yo, turn that off real quick. So I turn the vacuum off. I was like, what? He's like, yo, you missed a spot. And he proceeds to dump his drink on the floor of the fucking basement, all over the concrete. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, my bad. And he turns around and he starts walking up the stairs To which I obviously get mad and I drop the vacuum and I walk over to the stairs and I was like, yo, turn the fuck around, come back down here and clean that shit up. I'm not cleaning up your drink. And he's like, nah. And I was like, dude, fucking please, just do it. And my mom hears us arguing and she like opens the door and she's like, what are you doing down there? And I was like, he just spilled a drink on purpose to try and make me clean it up and I'm not doing it. And he goes, actually, no, Austin's lying. He spilled the drink and now he's trying to blame it on me. And my mom goes, I don't care who spilled the drink, Austin, you clean it because you're the one that forgot to clean the basement yesterday. And I was like, no, absolutely not. He spilled it. I'm not cleaning it. And she goes, I don't care. Either you clean it or you're grounded. And I was like, nah, not today. And I started walking upstairs. And she goes, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm not cleaning anything until he cleans up his mess that he made. I'm not responsible for him being a dickhead. And she's like, watch your language. And I was like, no, he's being a dickhead. And she goes, okay, that's it. You're grounded 2 days. And I go, nah. And I put my shoes on and I walked out the door. I walked out the front door of my house and I set off on a journey into who knows where. I was just walking down my street aimlessly. And my mom starts following me. She's behind me, walking behind me. And she's like, if you keep going and you walk off this street and you leave, I'm calling the police because you ran away. And I go, okay, call them. Just, not caring. I was just full attitude at this point, was not using my brain. I just did not care. And she proceeds to pull out her cell phone and start calling the police. She actually called them. I saw her dial it. She starts calling them, and she's telling the operator that her son's running away. To which I sped up. I started speed walking, and she's trying to keep up. But then I start going even faster, and before I know it, my mom just gives up on trying to, follow me. And she just tells the police what street I'm on and to go get me. And after that, I ran. As soon as I was out of her sight, I just ran. And I ran probably a good mile or two because I knew the police were on their way. And after running 1 or 2 miles, I ended up at this park that I've talked about in countless other story times. Like this was like the park closest to my house. And I ended up going there, sitting down at one of the benches for like maybe 10 minutes, catching my breath. But then I kept running because I knew if I stayed there for too long, I'd get caught. Because that park, my mom knew I was always there whenever I would run away. And it was close to my house. So my mom, she knew I'd be there, right? So after catching my breath for like 10 minutes, I got up and I kept running. And I ran another probably mile or two until I was at this other park. Now, this park was kind of different from the one that I was just at. This one was more of like a football field, soccer field thing. They had like some bleachers. It was probably meant for sporting events mainly, like not really just to hang out at. But it was empty and nobody was there. So I just laid down in the grass under the bleachers and just caught my breath and just laid there for a little bit. And I thought, okay, I'm under the bleachers. No one can really see me. This is going to be a good spot to chill for a while. So I ended up not just catching my breath. I ended up staying there for probably about 30 minutes. And after about 30 minutes, when I was feeling good, not so tired, I thought, okay, I can either lay here all night or I could go try and get some food or something. So I got up, I walked away from the bleachers, and I started heading into the nearest town and, trying to find some food. So yeah, I walked into the nearest town. I found a pizza place. I sat down, got some food. Like I said earlier in the story, this was when my YouTube was starting to do pretty well. So I had some money to spend. So I was able to, get my own food, and I wasn't broke as hell, just with no money. So I got some food. I sat down, ate it. It was okay. It didn't taste very good because all I could think about was the fact that the police were after me. But anyway, I finished my food. After I finished, I started walking out of the pizza place. And as soon as I walked out, I noticed that across the street, there was a little shopping mall thing. It wasn't like an actual mall, not some giant building, but it was like a small little outlet mall. So I thought, okay, let's check that out. Let me see what's good over there. So I walked across the street. I go in there. I spent about 20 minutes in there. Not much that I was, interested in. Not a lot of stores that I liked. So I thought, okay, let's leave. Let's go do something else. So I walked out of the outlet mall. Now, remember what I just said about how this outlet mall was across the street from the pizza place I just ate at? Well, when I walked out of the mall, I looked across the street and I see 2 cop cars at the pizza place talking to one of the managers out front. And the manager sees me come out of the mall and she points to me. And I can see her point, and the 2 cops look at me, and one of them yells, "Hey, stop." And he starts running across the street to me. And I thought, oh shit, they found me. So I turn around and I run. Obviously, not the right thing to do in this situation, but me being 16 and dumb, that's what I did. I turn around and I start running. And I ran into some woods behind the mall, and I just ran and I ran and I ran. And I wasn't too worried about getting caught because I had a very big head start, but I still ran as fast as I possibly could through these woods for about at least a mile. And then once I, was about a mile in and I turned around and didn't see anybody, I thought, okay, I'm probably good. And I stopped running. I just kind of, maintained a speed walk and just kept walking, right? Now, immediately I'm thinking like, yo, how the hell do they find me? How do they know I was at that pizza place? Like, what the fuck? Like, do I have someone tracking me? Like, what's going on? And right when I had this thought, it hit me. I was like, oh shit, I know how they found out. I completely forgot that my mom was on my bank account. So because I was a minor, I couldn't have my own bank account yet. So I had a joint bank account with my mom, and she could check my transactions. So she just looked at my bank account, saw that I spent some money on pizza at that pizza place, looked up the locations, and that was the only one. So she sent the police there. So that's how they found me. So I was like, oh shit, okay, I need to be more careful. So after I walked through these woods for about, 30 minutes probably, I got out, I found the exit of the woods. And when I got out of these woods, I was in this parking lot, and this building was like in front of me. It was the back of the building, so I didn't really know what it was. So I walked around the building to the front, and I noticed that it's a furniture store. It's like a mattress and furniture store. And I was so bored and just so like directionless that I was like, you know what? Let me just go in there and check out what they got. So I walked into this fucking furniture store at 16 years old. And as soon as I walked in, I could tell the employees knew that I was like not about to buy some furniture because I was fucking 16. And obviously no 16-year-olds going into a furniture store by themselves to buy furniture. So yeah, I walk in, the employees kind of give me a dirty look. And this girl walks up to me that worked there. And she was like, can I help you with anything? And I was like, just checking out the furniture. And she goes, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? And I was like, 16. And she was like, oh, okay. I'm just surprised. I don't usually see kids your age at a furniture store. And I was like, well, I'm not like most kids. I'm a mature individual. And she goes, okay, yeah, we'll have a look around. Let me know if you see anything that catches your eye and if you want to get anything. And I was like, okay. So I started looking around the furniture store, right? And I will say, they had some cool-ass furniture, okay? They had this bed that had, like, lights all over it that looked pretty sick. It was, like, $3,000, the frame and, like, the bed. So, that wasn't about to happen, but it was still cool. And after looking around for about 20 minutes, I realized I'm 16. I'm not buying any fucking furniture, and I'm bored. I'm leaving. So I was on my way out, and right before I left, I saw that same girl, and she was like, oh, you're leaving? I was like, yep, I'm out of here. And she was like, okay, well, have a good one. I'm like, you as well. And I left the store. Now, after this, I really didn't know what to do. I was so bored. I was in the middle of this town that I never hang out in. I didn't have any friends nearby. I couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? I was very bored. I didn't know what to do. So even though I didn't really have any friends nearby that I knew of, I still thought, okay, let me call some friends because I was 16 and I had a couple friends that could drive. So I called up the friends that could drive and I was like, yo, what are you doing today? I'm fucking bored. Like, anything going on? And of course, the friends that I knew that drove all had plans already. They were all like doing stuff. So that was a waste of time. And after that, I called up some other friends, some friends that didn't drive and thought, hey, like, I'm in this town. Maybe you could ride your bike and we could like meet halfway somewhere. But none of them felt like riding their bike that far. So that sucked and also was a waste of time. And I pretty much accepted the fact that I was not about to have any friends hanging out with me on this night. So at this point, I kind of had two choices. I turn my ass around and I walk all the way home, or I keep staying out on the run type shit and be alone, which obviously number two is not the choice I should have made. But me being just stubborn and stupid, I thought, I'm doing it. I'm staying out. I'm going to fucking stay on my own. Like, I'll show her, you know what I mean? Like, trying to fucking act tough. And yeah, but that didn't change the fact that I still had no idea what I was going to do for the rest of the day/night. So I started brainstorming. And I was like, okay, what is near here that I can do? So I went on my phone and I Googled like things to do near me. And I found a laser tag place like 0.2 miles away. And I remember standing there on the sidewalk thinking like, okay, am I really about to go to a laser tag place and play by myself? Nah, fuck it. What else is there to do? So I literally walked to this laser tag place, went there, walked inside. And as soon as I walked in, I saw there was like 38-year-olds running around because somebody was having like a birthday party or something. Like I saw the table set up and like cake and stuff and pizza. So I walked up to the front desk and I was like, hey, can I play the next game? And he was like, yeah, you got any friends with you or are you just playing alone? And I was like, just alone. He's like, yeah, cool. You can hop in the next one. All those kids from the birthday party are playing next. So I was about to be playing against like literally 38-year-olds. And I thought, okay, this about to be fucking easy. I'm about to absolutely destroy these 8-year-olds in laser tag. So I got in line. They got us all inside, put our like laser vests on and shit, gave us the laser gun thing. The buzzer then rings and the game starts. And let me tell you, the first like minute, I was fucking shit up, okay? Every 8-year-old that came in my line of sight, I was lasering them shits right in the chest. They were getting out real quick. But then like a minute later, I don't know what happened. I think they were hacking or some shit. But they fucking started destroying me, dude. These 8-year-olds were kicking the shit out of me in laser tag. Every fucking corner I would turn, I'd hear a little giggle and a fucking laser would hit me in the chest and I'd just be out for like the next minute. And I'd have to walk around and wait for my like vest to reset. And then I'd turn another corner and like 2 8-year-olds would be there and one would hit me in the arm and one would hit me in the chest and I'd be out again. And every fucking corner I took, these goddamn 8-year-olds were fucking me up. And it got to a point where I couldn't even get anybody, man. Everywhere I'd go, a fucking 8-year-old would emerge from the steam, like the fog or whatever, and I'd get shot in the chest with a fucking laser and they'd giggle and I'd be out. And just no matter what I did, I was getting my fucking shit rocked. And I remember like at one point I was thinking to myself like, yo, I should have just stayed my ass home. I should have stayed my ass home and cleaned the fucking basement and did whatever I had to do and then played Xbox all day because I promise that would be better than being at this fucking laser tag place, getting my shit rocked by a bunch of fucking 8-year-olds at a birthday party playing laser tag. Like, you don't know how humbling that was. I thought, oh, I'm 16. Like, I'm older than these kids. I'm going to have faster reflexes. I'm taller. I'll be able to see over certain obstacles that they can't. And I'll be able to, like, take certain head glitches. But little did I know, the fucking laser tag course was perfectly designed for 8-year-olds, okay? They had the perfect head glitches. They had the spots. They had the tech. These motherfuckers were destroying me. And I was humbled, man. I was real fucking humbled. I was upset. I was like, yo, I'm washed. I'm terrible. And anyway, I'm getting real sidetracked here. I'm getting like real emotional about this laser tag game. All I'm saying is it was a cherry on top to a very shitty day, right? So after I got my ass kicked by a bunch of 8-year-olds in laser tag, the game ended. I walked out. They were laughing at me. I literally saw like 4 of them pointing and laughing as I took my vest off and hung it up. And as I walked out of like the arena, the laser tag arena or whatever, one of the moms from the birthday party came up to me and she was like, thanks for playing with them. Like, that looked like it was a lot of fun. Meanwhile, they're all laughing at me. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And she goes, what's your name? Like, you want to like have some pizza? And I was like, that'd actually be nice. Thank you. And I had some pizza with them. That was cool, I guess, sitting at a table with a bunch of 8-year-olds having pizza. But after that, I was like, okay, I need to leave because I'm not hanging out with a bunch of 8-year-olds all night. And I left. I left the laser tag place. It was about to close anyway. And now the sun was down, right? It's dark out. And now I'm kind of like fucked. I'm like, all right, now what do I do? Everything's closing. I don't have any friends nearby. The police are probably still looking for me. Like, what do I do? Oh, I forgot to mention, I left out a pretty key detail. I paid for laser tag with cash. I had some cash on me. So I paid for laser tag with some cash. That way my mom wouldn't see my statements and see I was at the laser tag place and send the police there and walk my ass out of the laser tag place in handcuffs. So yeah, that's how they didn't show up to that. That's how I stayed hidden. But anyway, yeah, I was out of there now. I was just walking down the sidewalk. It was dark out. I didn't know what to do. I'm trying to brainstorm some ideas. And the only thing I could really think of was there was a 24-hour grocery store probably about half a mile down the road. And that was genuinely the only thing I could think of. I was like, okay, I'll just go there. Maybe I'll buy a dessert or some shit because they sold like desserts and stuff. And I'll just sit down at one of the tables in there or something and just eat and try and kill like an hour. So I went there and I did what I said I was going to do. I bought like a piece of cheesecake or something, sat down at the table. I was eating there, killed about 45 minutes. And then after that, threw it away. And I was just sitting there at the table on my phone. And my phone was about to die, by the way. That sucked. I had like 10% left. And I was really feeling pretty down. I can't lie. At this point, I was like, this sucks. Like, my phone's about to die. I don't have a charger. Like, what do I do here? So I came up with a plan. I thought, okay, I'm going to go into one of the aisles, buy a phone charger. But the problem is I have to buy it with my card and it's going to show up on my bank statement. So I'll have to buy the phone charger, immediately leave, and then find somewhere where I can charge my phone. So that's what I did. I went, I found a phone charger. I didn't have enough cash to cover it, so I had to buy it with my card. Like I said, my mom was going to know where I was at now because it, pinged my bank statement. I then left the grocery store immediately and I started looking for somewhere where I could plug this in and charge my phone. Now, like I said earlier, everything was closed at this point. It was getting late. So I had to go and aimlessly wander around until I found a building that had an outdoor outlet on the side, like somewhere to plug stuff in. So I found this fucking building that was super abandoned and there was an outlet on the side. And I thought, okay, there is no way this abandoned building with this outlet on the side is going to work. Like, obviously the power is going to be off. And I plugged the charger in and I plugged my phone in. And for a second, it seemed like it wasn't going to work. But then all of a sudden, my phone made the noise and it was charging. And miraculously, the fucking power at this building was turned on, still working. And I thought, holy shit, I'm lucky as fuck. So I just sat there on my phone, just doom scrolling Twitter for like a good hour while my phone charged. And I was sitting on the side of this fucking creepy ass abandoned building, just hoping that no like sketchy people come around and try and rob me or some shit, or like the police pull up. And I can't lie, I was pretty creeped out. Because like the building, I was sitting on the side of it, and there was another abandoned building right next to it. I was in like this plaza. It's like an abandoned shopping plaza. And these two buildings that I was in between kind of formed like a little alleyway. So yeah, I was in this like abandoned, creepy alley charging my phone. And it was terrifying. I can't lie. Not fun to be there alone in the middle of the night. So after like an hour, my phone charges enough to where I'm like, okay, I can unplug it and we can, keep moving and find something else to do and get out of this creepy ass like alley thing. So I unplugged my phone, put the charger in my back pocket, and I started just walking down the sidewalk away from this abandoned plaza, further into this town, just trying to find something to do, right? And I walked around for probably a good hour, and I ended up finding another 24-hour grocery store. This one was a little bit different. This was more of like a convenience store, so kind of like a gas station vibe. Walked in there, hung out in there for about 20 minutes, just sat there at one of the tables they had set up. And the dude working, he looked pretty young. He was probably about 20, 21 years old. I think he could tell that I was like a teenager that ran away from home, because he walked over to me at the table and he started like sweeping up some of the crumbs that were underneath the table. He's like, my bad, bro. I'm just cleaning this shit real quick. And I was like, you're good, man. And he's like, you okay? You good? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, you sure? And yeah, I just think he could tell, like given the look on my face, the fact that I was charging my phone and that I was just out and about, late at night, that I was probably, lost or ran away. So I didn't tell him the full truth, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just, a little stressed out about some stuff. And he was like, what's going on, man? And I was like, not much, just shit at home. So I'm just kind of chilling out for the night, just hanging outside my house. And he's like, oh, you ran away? And I was like, something like that. And he's like, well, stay here as long as you need, bro. We're open 24/7. I'm on for the next 8 hours, so I'm not leaving here anytime soon. It's probably better for you here than out there. And I was like, I appreciate that. And honestly, man, I had nowhere else to go, so I'm really happy he said this. So I spent, no joke, the next 4 hours just inside this gas station, convenience store type shit, just sitting there. And I had some cash on me left over, not a lot, but it was enough to buy like some gas station snacks, and it wouldn't hit my statements on my bank account. So bought some snacks, kind of ate, and just chilled. And after about 4 hours, I was getting really tired. I remember I had my head down on the table, like knocked the fuck out, sleeping. And all of a sudden I hear like a slam sound on the table. Like someone slams their hand down, and I quickly like pull my head up and like kind of wake up. And there's this guy, probably like 45 years old, looking super pissed at me. And he's like, what are you doing? This isn't a homeless shelter. Get out of here. And I was like, homeless shelter? What are you talking about? He's like, you can't sleep in here. Get moving. If you're not going to buy stuff, get out. And I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I bought something. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Get the hell out of my store. You're not buying anything now. And meanwhile, behind him, this dude, the one that said I could stay there, he's arguing with him. He's like, yo, come on, man. Like, he's a kid. Let him chill. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is my store, my rules. And I realized, like, oh, shit, this is the manager, like the owner of the store. And he's pissed off that I'm apparently loitering here. So I had to leave. He kicked me out. Yeah, the owner of the store pulled up. I don't know why he was there so late at night doing a check, but he pulled up and kicked me out. And I was like, whatever. So I left, right? I didn't stay and argue. I didn't want to, because if I stayed and argued, he'd probably call the cops, and that would be a bigger problem. So I left. And I ended up very tiredly just walking to some park nearby and laying down on a bench and falling asleep. And let me tell you, man, that shit sucked. It was cold outside. I was on this hard-ass wooden bench. No blanket, no pillow. That shit absolutely sucked. Like, when I think about top 5 most uncomfortable moments of my life, this is definitely probably in the top 3. It is not fun. Yeah, really shitty. Anyway, I ended up falling asleep after about, 10 to 20 minutes of laying there. And I actually slept for a good while, probably about an hour, hour and a half. And I was having a dream that was very vivid. I remember it to this day. I was having this dream about me and my cousin hanging out in my basement. We were playing Gears of War. And I remember we were just playing the game, hanging out. And I heard this voice in my dream go, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. And sometimes when you're dreaming, but you can hear stuff in the outside world and it like makes its way into your dream. That's what was happening, because I woke up on the third, hey, buddy, and I realized there was a police officer in my face waking me up on this bench, crouched down in front of me. Now, obviously, opening your eyes on a bench after sleeping for an hour in the cold and seeing a cop right there in your face, like right up close, it jump scared me. So I quickly, I jumped up and I was like, oh shit, what's up? And he could tell how surprised and nervous I was. He's like, all right, calm down. Just don't run, okay? Just sit down, chill out. And I sit down on the bench and I was like, all right. And he's like, look, I know who you are. You're Austin, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, come with me. I'm going to take you back to my car, okay? And I was like, I don't want to get arrested. He's like, no, I'm not going to arrest you. I'm not going to put you in cuffs. Just sit down in my car with me. And I was like, I don't want to. And he's like, well, you gotta. You're on the run. You can't be out here alone. You're too young. It's not safe. I don't want to see you get hurt. So just come with me. And he starts walking. He does the come here motion with his hand. So I follow him. I did. I could have turned around. I could have ran. But with how tired I was and how awful I felt, I knew I wasn't going to outrun the dude. He was one of the younger cops, too. He could probably outrun me. So he walks me over to his car. He opens the back door. He asks me to empty my pockets, which I do. Then he searches me. And there was nothing on me besides my wallet, my phone, my keys. So that was all good. And then after that, he has me sit down in the back of the car. And I sit down. He closes the door. He walks back over to the driver's seat. He gets in. And he's like, all right, so we're going to the station. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, fuck, man, I'm really getting arrested right now. They're taking me to the fucking police station? It's over. It's fucking over, man. I'm cooked. And, he turns the car on, and he starts driving me to the police station. And meanwhile, he's on, the radio. He's talking to someone. It sounded like he was, talking about me. So, I don't know. Anyway, we get to the police station. He gets me out of the back seat. He walks me inside. He sits me down in the main, waiting area. And he tells me to wait there. And I end up waiting there for 45 minutes. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen. I didn't know if some other cop was going to come out and escort me to the juvie detention center, throw me in jail. I didn't know if I was about to get fingerprinted and a mug shot. I didn't know how it was supposed to work, right? I just didn't know what was next for me. But all I knew is that this sucked. Because in the past I had ran away and, they'd just taken me home, right? But this was different. They took me to a police station. So I thought I was really screwed. I thought oh shit, this is it. I'm really going to jail this time. It's over. Well, 5 minutes later, my mom walks into the police station and the cop that picked me up, he came out and he was talking to her and she went into some office with this other cop and they were talking for a while. And then she comes out with two cops and they walk up to me and the one guy, the one that picked me up, he's like, all right, you're about to go home. But in the future, man, seriously, don't do this. Don't run away. Don't disobey your parents. Be good. Okay. I was like, all right. He goes, okay, because if I have to come get you again, it might not be so good. And I was like, all right. Basically saying if I keep fucking up and running away, they might throw me in juvie type shit. And they end up letting me go. And I left with my mom. I get in the car. And I remember I sit down in the passenger seat. And she looks at me and she's like, you have a good night? You have fun? And I was like, not really. And she was like, yeah, I bet. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, why'd you run? They saw you at that pizza place. Why'd you run? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to be home. And she was like, really? Cleaning the basement is that bad that you would rather be homeless? And I was like, honestly, yeah. And that was just my attitude talking. I was just being a dick. And she was like, you're fucking unbelievable. You know that? And I was like, look, I think it was unfair. You literally were trying to make me clean up a mess that wasn't mine. My brother was being a dick. But once again, she didn't really care. She was like, it doesn't matter. I'm your parent. If I say you got to do something, you should do it. And I was like, yeah, well, that was just unfair. And she's like, whatever. You're grounded. And I'm like, I figured. And yeah, she ends up taking me home. And I got grounded for 3 weeks, which honestly, in the grand scheme of things, not that bad. I thought I was about to get grounded for 3 months. But yeah, 3 weeks. Lost my Xbox, lost my laptop, lost all my shit. I had to make videos from a library computer. Yeah, I had to record the audio at home on my brother's laptop, send the audio to myself via email. Then I would get gameplay from my friend and then go to a library and put the audio and gameplay together in Windows Movie Maker and then upload it. That's how dedicated I was, bro, to YouTube. Back then when I used to get grounded and get my computer taken away, I was so dedicated that I was willing to go to the fucking library to make videos for you guys. And honestly, today, if I was still a 16-year-old kid and that shit was happening to me, I would do it again. That's how much I love making YouTube videos, and that's how much entertaining y'all means to me. So yeah, in the end, it sucked that I got grounded, but overall, it could have been worse, so I'd say I got pretty lucky. A funny little added detail to this story, funny little cherry on top. A month after this happened, I was at the store with my mom, and we kind of split up. Sometimes she would go do her shopping, I'd just go in other aisles and stuff and wander around. And I was in one of these random aisles, and I ran into the cop that was the one that brought me to the station. And we made eye contact, and he goes, hey, I know you. You're Austin, right? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, you been being good? And I was like, yeah. And I just turned around and I walked away. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, in the end, everything was okay. I was okay. Everything was good. And just another, kind of shitty night for the books, I guess. But yeah, guys, that's the story. It's not the craziest running away story ever. It's not like the one where I ran away for a week straight. But, I think it's still pretty wild. So I thought you guys would enjoy it. If you guys enjoyed this story time, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.